everybody. This is John Butero. It's been a little while since I've made a video, but I did feel like I needed to make one today. And the reason for it is because I have come across some new videos lately from some of the atheists that are on YouTube. And I wanted to discuss some things that they're doing now that's a little bit different than what they were doing before. In the new videos, it's coming across almost like that they're new. And I don't know if it's a strategy so much or if it's because they're just getting upset or what it is exactly. But they've been on there coming across like they're almost like it's a victim mentality. They're basically trying to say that they're over here like they're these therapists or something or other trying to help people that have left the Christian faith. They're trying to be like almost a support group for them or almost like a therapist for them or something along those lines. And they're just misunderstood. And then they got these old mean people in Christianity like myself. I'm the villain here, and so are the others in Christianity that are daring to say anything against them. They are talking about how that we're coming in there, and as one person actually called it, he said he was tired of people straw manning uh, these people after they have left the faith. I guess he's feeling like that. He must think these straw man tactics are actually being effective in some way, shape, or form, or he wouldn't be whining and complaining about it. But he's tired of it, he says. And then this other person has been on YouTube talking about how that she's just trying to help people. She's all misunderstood and all this kind of stuff. And they're both talking about, if people only understood their motives, we'd look at them different. Well, first of all, let's look at the idea that they're just therapists. They're just people there that are trying to help people. That people are being hurt supposedly by us awful Christians. And, they are trying to get out of the faith. They're trying to unlearn all of the things that they were brainwashed into believing. And so these kind hearted, you know, atheists that went through the deconstruction process already for themselves, they're trying to be of a help and they're trying to soothe them and help them and pat them on the back and saying, you're not alone, brother. You're not alone. Well, ex brother and sister, they don't use that terminology there, brothers and sisters. We do that in Christendom. But they'll be like patting them on the back, tell them it's all right and how that you're not alone. There's others that have been through this process and they're just there to help. That's what they want us to believe. But is that really what they're doing? In reality, if it's just a community of people that are like acting as a support group, a support network for others, that would be bad enough because they're all these people are being led into hell is what's happening. So it would be bad enough if that's what they were doing. But the chances are, if that's all they were doing, I wouldn't even be doing videos. I wouldn't even be talking about them. I'd be leaving them alone. But that's not what I've been finding on these videos. I haven't seen them over there just letting people know they're not alone. We're with you in the struggle too. And we've been through it too. We've had to deal with the family members that are still Christians and we're not anymore, and we've had to deal with our old friends that we've now lost in some cases, and we've had to deal with all the persecutions that go with the fact that they decided to be, and they're so brave because they actually made the decision to think for themselves and come out of Christianity. That's what they're basically trying to act like they're doing. They're not doing that. They're doing far more than that. What these atheists and these unbelievers are doing is they are literally attacking the Christian faith. They're going on here and they're doing it in several different ways. One of the ways they're doing it is they're coming on here and they are attacking God directly, a God they claim they don't believe in, but yet they spend all this time in the Bible attacking God because he is so mean, he is so unfair, and they have to let everybody know. And they assume that nobody knows what's in the Bible. They think that all of us Christians are dumb and we don't know what's in the Bible. But if we only knew what was in the Bible, then we would not like to be Christians anymore. And these enlightened and intelligent atheists are going to come in there and they are going to set the record straight. And we're all going to abandon the faith, because of that. I've even heard one of them say, that the best way to get somebody to stop believing is have them read the Bible. Well, I've read the Bible more than 20 times. I'm reading through it again right now. I'm in the book of Isaiah, trying to, doing one of those read through the Bible in a year things. Just trying to stay on track to keep reading it and rereading it so that it stays fresh in my mind. And so I'm very much aware of what's in the Bible. And guess what? A lot of other people that I know have read the Bible too and are still very strongly in the faith, and they know everything that is in the Bible. But these atheists, they just assume that we don't know what's in the Bible. But if we only knew what a mean God the God of the Bible was, what a terrible person he is, if we only knew that we would turn, and these people are right there to tell us what a rotten God we serve. So that's one of their tactics. Another one of the tactics that these enlightened atheists are trying to use in addition to that is they try to use science. The problem is all the stuff that they're using from science is all theories, that there's absolutely nothing they can prove from that. And then in another example, one of the things that these atheists like to use is like they'll turn around and they'll claim something couldn't have happened because of this scientific facts or something or other, but they're forgetting that we're dealing with a God who is a supernatural God who can do things that we can't normally do, that go beyond science. So they're forgetting about that. So all that stuff doesn't mean anything either. But that's another one of the tactics that they're trying to use to pull people out of the Christian faith. So, but they're literally on the attack. And they do have a motive for doing this. You want to know what it is? Well, if you watch enough of the atheist videos, you'll find out they defend what they're doing because, like, we see one of the things that people like me have done is we've pointed out if I didn't believe in a God, I wouldn't be wasting my whole time day and night making video after video after video attacking something that I didn't believe was real. Like, you don't see me going around attacking Zeus because I don't believe Zeus is real. You don't see me doing videos deconstructing Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny. And that's been brought up. And then what is the one thing they have turned around and said as a justification for why they do this? They'll say, well, Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny aren't causing people to vote certain ways. They aren't affecting our society. And therein is the motivation for these people. They're not just there as a self-help guru of some sort. They're not there to be your therapist. They are actively political activists for the most part. Most of the atheists are liberal political activists who have this view similar to John Lennon's socialism. And if you want to know what they believe, all you got to do is look at the words to the John Lennon song Imagine, and that pretty much tells you what their vision of everything is. They've got this idea that if they can turn everybody away from the Christian faith, then they can have the John Lennon socialism will take over because they think that we'll all become like that. I wouldn't. If it was me, I'd be far more in line with Ayn Rand's vision, which is more like what you saw that John Galt character in her book Atlas Shrugged. That'd be more like that. But they think everybody, it's all going to be this idea about a brotherhood of man and socialism and all that kind of stuff. And so they're trying to get us separated from God so that we will stop causing problems for them when it comes down to certain social issues and their agenda. And of course, they also had this false belief that if we would all abandon Christianity, suddenly we would be tolerant of all these different what they call minority groups, but they're groups that are into different kinds of sinful practices. Now, it does make sense that if we weren't Christian, that we might not be so concerned over it from a sin issue. But what they don't understand is a lot of people simply are opposed to certain so-called minority groups because they're different from them. It has absolutely nothing to do with sin. It's got to do with, it's just pure hatred for a group just because they hate the group. Um, like, for instance, I've said before, you look at the situation with what happened out with Matthew Shepard, a gay activist. A real Christian, or a Christian of any sort, would not have murdered him. Why would somebody do that? Well, because somebody's just full of hate. You don't have to be a Christian to oppose the homosexual agenda. A lot of people oppose the homosexual agenda simply because they don't like homosexuals. It's got nothing to do with Christian faith. And the people that are in the Christian faith, we're taught to love everybody. We don't are taught not to love sin, but we're supposed to love everybody. We're not supposed to be full of hate. But when you're talking about people outside the Christian faith, there's a lot of them that are just full of hate, and they're just going to hate a group just to hate them because they're different, based on all kind of things. It could be skin color, it could be anything. Just the way somebody looks in general. And it could be differences like because of sexual orientation. So getting everybody out of the Christian faith is not going to unite everybody. And everybody's not going to be united in politics either, because it's going to splinter off into two groups. You'll have the one group that will go the John Lennon socialist group. You'll also have another group that would be more like me, that would have the bumper stickers you sometimes see on the cars, "Don't tread on me" and "Who's John Galt?" Because everybody's not going to go the same way then either. You're not going to have this unity, but they believe that if they could just separate everybody from religion, it's going to be such a wonderful world. They have an agenda, and they're not all innocently just trying to help people. They really are. They're basically political, and most of them are very liberal, and so that's what's really behind it. But they're not. I don't have any sympathy for them whatsoever. They're attacking my God. They're attacking Christians in general. They're even singling out certain ones to attack. I've mentioned Kristie Burke on more than one video. She has actually videos that she's done where she's got pictures of Christian ministers and her taking them on, opposing them. These people are fighting against us. They're fighting against the faith. They're leading people to hell. Now, I know they don't like that either. They don't want us telling people about hell. Well, hell is a real place. Hell is a place of eternal torment. And whether or not they like it or they don't like it, I'm going to warn people about it. Jesus Christ warned people about it. So I'm going to warn people about it. And I'm going to warn you about these people. They are dangerous, and they are not to be pitied or sympathized with or anything, or looked at like they're some kind of victims. They're not victims. They have an agenda. They have a specific thing that they're doing, and they have a tactic. And this deconstructing thing is a tactic. Somebody came up with this around the year 2019, and they're trying to make atheism look cool to people. As a matter of fact, I actually was watching one atheist video. It was an interview that was being done where the man actually said that he hoped that one day atheists would be looked at as cool. Well, for a while back, from the very first time I actually looked at any of the deconstruction videos and started seeing the idea of this person is deconstructing, this person is going through the deconstruction process, I realized that they were trying to make this look like something cool and something hip and something that would appeal to young people. It's a strategy. That's all it is. It's kind of like somebody developed it, just like we develop strategies to try to win elections or to try to sell products or whatever. They're trying to sell atheism, but yet they really offer nothing. All their videos are attacks on our faith. They're trying to make us stay on the defensive. They have no answers of any that are credible at all as to how we got here, and they don't want you asking that. They actually will call it a straw man argument, and they will tell you that we don't even need to have answers. They'll tell you that it's not important that they have all the answers, that we should just realize that we're wrong, supposedly. Well, if I'm going to take a risk on my eternal soul being lost, I expect some answers. I don't expect just a bunch of questions. I expect that these atheists will actually have answers to how we got here and where we're going, and something better than fish to chimps to men. Because that, just to be perfectly honest with you, is about the dumbest theory I have ever heard. They claim they got mountains of evidence for it. They do not. All they've ever had is just some evidence that there have been some mutations within a single species. But you never have any evidence that a fish ever became some kind of all the land animals. Like, how in the world that happens, I don't know. A bass is supposed to turn into a giraffe one day. I mean, a salmon is going to turn into a bison. I just don't know how in the world that's supposed to happen. But they actually think that that makes more sense than Genesis in the Bible and that God created. They think it makes more sense. And it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. And it is just a theory. There is no proof of this whatsoever. And it also makes me wonder why everything didn't evolve. Why did all these things stay the way they were, but only some of them evolved into these other creatures? And remember, when they're saying this, and I'm seriously think about this, it's not just the monkey to man, but the monkey came from somewhere. They literally are teaching that microscopic sea organisms turned into every single type of life that's in the sea, and that somehow from that came all the life forms on the earth. It's not just the monkeys that turned them in, it's every other type of animal there is, whether it be an elephant or a giraffe or a hippopotamus or whatever. It doesn't matter. They are telling you they all came from the same thing, which makes us all, and like connected to every kind of animal that's out there. They would be our relatives, even down to snails and worms and bugs. I mean, everything, because it all originated in their mind from these little organisms in the sea. It's just a theory. It's just somebody's imagination, but that's all they got. Or they'll just tell you it doesn't matter where we came from. It's better than just making up something. That's what they claim. It's better than making up something, as though we're making something up. We're not making something up. We believe our Bibles. We believe that God is the answer to it. We're not just over here just creating a God just so that we can make something up to have an answer. We really have faith in this God. So it comes down to our faith versus their faith, and they are acting on faith, whether they say it or not, because all the stuff that they've got are nothing but theories. Therefore, yes, they are acting on faith. And if the universe created itself, then the universe is their God. And I have said before, and I'm going to continue to say, I know they deny it, but it's the truth. Atheism today is a religion. They have their evangelists, they have their preachers, they have their doctrines. And again, their doctrines can be generally summed up into two different categories. Just like we've got different kinds of Christians, there's different kinds of atheists. And generally, they usually fall into Ayn Rand libertarians or John Lennon socialists. And most of the ones that are aggressively online preaching, those are generally the John Lennon socialists. And we are supposedly standing in their way from accomplishing all the things that they're trying to accomplish. The pesky Christians are keeping them from these progressives from advancing and promoting their agenda, which they think is better than what we have today. They're not victims. Don't look at them with any sympathy. They're not therapists. They're not people that are just helping people that are trying to come out of the faith, that were brainwashed supposedly into the faith. That's not what they're about. They have an agenda. And in order to accomplish that, first off, they have to destroy your faith, and then they have to get you into their view of that socialism is the way to go. That's what they're all about. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close out the video with that. Lord willing, I'll be back with some other videos soon. I'm going to try to do some videos uploading some more original songs that I've written, maybe some songs that my wife has written. I'll probably be trying to upload some of those. I've got some other ideas for some videos that I'm looking to try to do in the future as well. But if you either like the content, or maybe you don't like the content, but you are just curious about what I'm going to be putting up, then subscribe to the channel. You got nothing to lose by doing that. And like I said, I will try to come back with some new videos soon. I do thank you for taking the time to watch, and I hope you'll join me again, Lord willing, on my upcoming videos.